Yeah, the grass cutting season is just starting, isn't it?
Yes.
And, you know, newly bereaved people, it's really hard to be organised. You miss putting the bins out on the right day. And you can just notice that the bin isn't out and just put it out and go around tomorrow and put it back into where it belongs. These feel like tiny, almost insignificant things, but they're just one less piece of chaos in the life that's going on for the newly bereaved person, aren't they?
Completely. And actually, it's often the small things like the bins on Tuesday that completely tip someone over. So if there's the kindness from the neighbor who's done it for you, you can tip them over to feel, oh my goodness, I feel so supported and so grateful. But I was also thinking about the impact of in both sides of this, of not having the sort of preparatory conversations or having bad conversations. What do you think? I mean, I'm sure all of you watching have contribution you can make, but what do you, when they go wrong, what do you think happens?
It's interesting, isn't it? So I think the planning conversations need to be shared, and it's almost as though the agenda needs to be shared. What should we talk about? And let's agree that. Otherwise, what we have is one person trying to go through a list in their head. You know, I want to know, does he want to be an organ donor? Does he want to be on a ventilator or not? Does he want a religious funeral or not? Does he want to be buried? Or they've got a kind of tick list that they want to get through. And the other person starting this conversation, and they think, oh, here's this person. This is the first time anybody's listened to me to have one of these conversations. Here are the things that are on my mind that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And they're not on the list. Hang on, I need to get you back on the list. So maybe it would be helpful to just agree at the very beginning, what are the things that it would be most helpful to talk about for you, the sick person, and for me, the person who might have to do some of the organising for you? Can we maybe take turn and turn about things that we want to talk about? Because I think it goes wrong when one person's idea of what the conversation should be about isn't the same as the other person's. So if somebody's feeling listened to for the first time, and then actually they don't get listened to because the person's only referring to their list, that's a double disappointment, isn't it?
Completely. And I think the other kind of link to it is that we underestimate the conversations with different generations, the cultural differences. So there are cultural differences from faith and background and ethnicity that we need to kind of take in and kind of appreciate and acknowledge. But also, I think looking at my generation, for instance, there was no way in the world I was going to talk to my mum about her dying. I mean, I tried, and she just literally changed the conversation, even though she was told that she had 6 months to live. She turned around to me and said, darling, I've got flu and I'll get better. And it was, she would be 93 now. She was a land girl during the war. She was that generation. And it wouldn't have been helpful for her or me to go around with my Wellington boots and say, Mum, the doctor told you that you're going to die, that I need to both respect who she is and her defenses. Defenses are useful.
Oh, absolutely.
Unnecessary. They're there for a good reason. So I think part of kind of when you're assessing the types of conversations that you can have is including the different generations and their kind of ways of coping. And of course, there's lots of individual differences within generations and within cultures and faiths and ethnicities. But trying to, I think one of the things when I used to teach at St. Mary's, when I worked in the NHS, was when I was teaching doctors about having difficult conversations, I would say every lens of difference between two people is a lens that adds complexity, possible complexity between the receiver and the transmitter of the conversation. So if you're a different gender, a different education, a different background, a different faith, a different class, different education, all of those different lenses narrow the bandwidth of understanding, so that the more difference you have, the slower you need to go, and the kind of iterative process, checking. I just want to check that you've understood this, and what I've understood from you is this, because otherwise two people can go away and actually they think they've had one story that has been told, and that isn't the story.